Getting a house has been life-changing.
A really positive thing staying here.
The new house is brilliant, again, for space and also just basically nice gardens, and the neighbours are very nice and friendly.
So A.K. Bell was part of the Bell's whisky family in Perth. He was the most entrepreneurial, who developed the business and marketed it overseas and developed the brand to what it is today. As well as being a grand entrepreneur, was also a great philanthropist, and he had already, before the Gannochy Trust was founded, done a lot of philanthropic deeds in Perth. His most obvious dealings at the time were to build a beautiful housing estate at Gannochy, and he then set up the trust in 1937 to look after the houses and the remainder of his estate.
A.K. Bell's original estate comprises 149 red sandstone buildings with their very distinctive hipped slate roofs. The houses were constructed and designed to a really high standard, and they include a lot of distinctive feature windows and bespoke detailing around the porches and the main living room windows as well. The houses all face in a southwesterly direction to maximise natural light into the main living spaces, and they're set on very generous plots, which A.K. Bell was very keen on so that his tenants were able to get outside and enjoy the fresh air. Each house also had a brass plaque erected inside that extolled the virtues of ventilation, and in particular encouraged our tenants to open windows and ventilate the house properly. These characteristics show that A.K. Bell was a man well ahead of his time when he built the original estate, and our trustees were very keen to carry this ethos through into the new development and make it an exemplar for the 21st century.
The key design aspects that we've included that reflect the original estate are the grid. We have followed the grid so you can see the southwest orientation here, bathed in sunlight. We've developed a ventilation system that provides good indoor air quality, and also a strong connection to the garden with this recessed statutory on the south elevation, and this encourages people to be outside and will in time foster a strong community. In order to create a home for life, the first thing you need to do is create an environment where people want to live. And we can do that by designing good quality housing, connection with the outdoors, and also amenity spaces. Amenity spaces like this one here, which is at the centre of the development, will encourage community growth over the years. That, in turn, will create a sense of place and a sense of belonging, which is essential for people wanting to live here in the longer term. Key driver in the brief was good indoor air quality. We set out to achieve that using a passive system, which is terminated at the head by that cowl, which is a characteristic in all of the houses. We've also used a breathing wall construction, and we've enhanced the natural ventilation with slot vents above the windows. Indoor air is balanced by vents between rooms. The housing needs to be able to respond to people's changing circumstances as they get older. As folk get older, mobility issues relating to dementia become profoundly difficult. We want to try and encourage people to stay in their houses for as long as practical. To address some of these issues, we have provided level access. We have bathrooms that are fully adaptable, knockout panels that give direct access to the bedrooms. The bathrooms can be converted easily into wet rooms. We have open plan kitchen and dining rooms, and we also have larger hall areas to allow people with mobility issues, make it easier for them to move around. Key issue for elderly people is social isolation. People being stuck inside and not being able to connect with the community. These statutories provide a space where people feel comfortable sitting outside and they connect with their neighbours and with the wider community.
Well, because my wife has MS and has been confined to a wheelchair now for roughly 20 years, the new house is considerably more suitable. One, there's no steps in and out of the front door or the back door. Two, Gannochy Trust were kind enough to put in a wet room from the start, so it makes it easier to have her showered. And the kitchen is possibly 3-4 times the size of the old kitchen, and it makes it just a lot more easier for her to get about.
Getting a house has been life-changing. It also means that this is a lifetime house, where knowing that when you've got a young adult with disabilities, we've got no more worries about what's going to happen next. We're not carrying our daughter upstairs anymore. We have now got a wet room and downstairs bedroom, which has tracking, which means no more lifting. She also has the full space of downstairs, where she's not in the one spot.
It's a fit-for-purpose home, and we've got a massive garden for Alfie to run and play in. And the home's safe as well, because it is quite open plan. We can see him most times, and it's really quite airy, and we get a lot of fresh air in the house, which is really healthy for Alf. Gannochy are quite open and transparent, that if they want families to stay within the Gannochy Trust, and if we do need to grow our family or we feel like doing that, then we know that there's options to look at bigger housing. But this house is really fit for purpose, that we could adapt the rooms to have 2 or 3 children.
I have lived in Gannochy, as I said, 27 years, and have always found it to be a nice area. Everyone that has come to see us, my family, they're very impressed with the layout and the standard of the new estate.
The amount of space in the new house is just getting around. It's just been that much easier for me. The bathroom's great because it's a wet room, so I can get in there, and then it's just allowed me to get that much more independence than I had before. The green spaces are amazing. I often just go up, sit on the hill and spend just take the book up there and just spend hours up there reading the book. I really love it here because on the one hand, you're 15 minutes walked into town, but on the other hand, you're right on the edge of the town, and you're right by the countryside, and you really feel connected to nature, and so you've really got the best of both worlds.
So I think of most pleasure to me has been the feedback from the tenants as to how well they've settled in, particularly those with adapted houses for the benefit of the less able. I think it's been above and beyond the expectation of all the trustees. It's turned out to be an absolutely beautiful estate, and it's blended so well with the old estate as well. It was one of the key design features that we wanted to build one estate and not 2. I think all the tenants of the old and new estate are growing a new community for the benefit of all.